So, my family is very much a mixed bag of... It's very Americanized.
Multicultural.
Multicultural. There's, like, if you trace it back, there's a bunch of different backgrounds, different religions, different... I mean, it's all kind of European, but, like, Europeans who technically didn't get along for a long time, so it's kind of weird that it's all together. But it was very confusing when I was growing up. Not to me, because it was just the way my family was, but to other people, because when people said, well, what do you celebrate in December? I would say we celebrate both, meaning both Christmas and Hanukkah, because there's my mother's brother converted, and his wife was Jewish, and all their children were Jewish, so when we got together as a family in December, we would celebrate both Hanukkah and Christmas.
Because you had that whole wing of Jewish people.
Mm-hmm. And my leg of the family, my direct, immediate family, we didn't, like, go to church or study the Bible or anything, so for us, Christmas was very secular. It was lights, it was presents, it was time with the people you loved.
Santa.
It was Santa. It was Rudolph. It was snowmen.
It was Wintermas.
Yeah, it was very much a Yule celebration. You ate some really good food, and you brought in people you loved, and your family was warm with candlelight and celebration of the year. And that was... So, and the same thing with Hanukkah. It was the candlelight and celebration.
Non-denominational light holiday.
Right, but, like, in the era that I was growing up, like, this is, like, when I was super young, so we're talking, like, the 1980s. Turn to dust and blow away. So in the 1980s, like, I would be in kindergarten or whatever, and the adults would be like, well, are you excited for Christmas? And I'd be like, well, we're going to do both.
You're excited for both?
Yeah. And then then my mom would show up to pick me up, and they'd be like, we didn't know you were Jewish. And my mom would just raise an eyebrow and be like, we're not. Why do you think we're Jewish?
What did he say to you?
Like, well, Rob told us that you celebrate Hanukkah. And like, oh yeah, his cousins are Jewish. And so when we get all the cousins together for the December celebrations, we do Hanukkah also. And like, that's just part of our family thing, is that we do both.
Yeah, because your immediate family wasn't, like, mixed in any way. But your grander family, your extended family was. It's more of a melting pot. My
family, like, on both sides, very much, like, married and had kids with who they liked.
Yeah.
Because there was, like, my mom's parents, there was a little bit of tension because they came from different religious backgrounds, and we're talking about, like, right after World War II, that was a bigger deal. And my father's side of the family, like, did not care. Like, if you were in, you were in. Like,
yeah.
They were not particularly, like, heritage focused. They were just, like, they came to America, and they were Americans. And that was it. Me and my dad had to research to find out what our heritage was, because it just wasn't talked about.
You're not sure if Scottish or Hungarian or...
Well, initially we thought Scottish, but doing more research, the family name actually comes from Northern Germanic tribes, because we're talking pre-Germany existing as a unified country.
Right.
But a lot of my original, because I had to change my name because we're married and we have the same name. But my bachelor name, you can find a lot of that name in Australia, which, coming from England, doesn't bode well for our ability to obey the rules or follow instructions.
It tracks though.
Yeah, and there's a couple in Canada and, like, Arizona. There's a smattering. Like, it's spread out. But, like, my dad was an only child, and I know nothing about my grandparents' siblings, if he had any. Like, it's just like it just isn't spoken about. Whereas my mom's side of the family is very much into their heritage, and both sides can trace their way back to when their ancestors set foot on American soil.
Your mom presented, like, a PowerPoint presentation at the beach.
At one of our family vacations, she presented a PowerPoint presentation.
There were handouts.
There were like worksheets to follow along with about, I think, what was the name? Yancey?
Maybe?
He had beef with one of the Hamiltons.
Yeah.
So, like, back in the Revolutionary times, they wrote letters back and forth about how much they fervently disagreed with each other.
I do think this is the difference between the side of your family that loves databases and spreadsheets and the side that does not.
Yeah, there's definitely some of that.
I think that's really what it comes down to.
There's definitely some of that, but it's like looking back, I don't know why it was such a big sticking point, because I was partially because I was a child, but even as an adult, I'm just like, why was that sticking point? Like, just someone says they celebrate both, like,
Who cares?
the assumptions made after that were weird.
Well, I mean, as a Jew, I can tell you, whenever anyone knew that I was a Jew in elementary school, I would be treated very, very differently. And the worst part was that it was usually under the guise of acceptance. They were usually pretending that they were being very, like, equal to everybody.
Oh, we're celebrating Christmas. Go in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah, like there was a craft they were doing. They were making like a little, it was like a jar of like bath salts, not the drug, but like the put in your bath.
Okay.
And and it was using like cotton balls or whatever to make it look like Santa. It could have easily been a snowman. There was no reason to make a Santa. Also, I didn't care if I made a Santa, and if they'd asked my parents, they wouldn't have cared either. Because whatever. I live in a society where Santa's everywhere. Like, I don't boycott the grocery store because there's a Santa. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But the people in
You
charge...
eat bacon, you don't give a shit.
Right, but the people in charge of me, and the one other Jewish kid in the class, said, okay, well, we have to make this equal. So they sent us to another room across the hall. No one turned the lights on for us, and we were too short to reach it.
Did no one explain the court ruling on segregation to them?
No, apparently not.
Because separate but equal is, judicially not equal.
I would tell you what the craft was, because they needed to give us a craft to do, too. So we had
Popsicle sticks?
Mm-hmm.
I called it popsicle sticks.
And glue, and we were meant to make a Star of David with a string so that we could hang it. What? On what, dear? On what? On a Christmas tree? I don't know. Who knows? Not gonna set it on our menorah. Everything would just burst into flames. It was made of wood.
Wood, glue, and twine.
Yeah. So, and meanwhile, the fucking happy children celebrating Christmas with their little Santa jars things, they had music playing. They had music and a light on, and we were just in the dark with nothing and just silence, and we just watched them having fun.
They got TV specials and candy, but not for the whole, you gotta...
Me and the one other Jew, and he and I were just like, this sucks. And when our parents found out, they were like mad about it, but nothing ever happened.
It probably still happens today.
Absolutely.
Like, people just don't, like, I in this case, maybe it's because I was the child at the time, but I think there's a quote. I think it's actually from a rabbi about how the
Probably.
the children think that the world should be fair and just,
Yeah.
and the children are right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why is it like, just celebrate both? Just if someone's like, just know something about Hanukkah and be like, oh, happy Hanukkah. I hope you enjoy your days. Merry Christmas. Like, happy holidays. If you don't know, it's just all encompassing. And then people get really fucking mad about that.
Yeah. It's like,
for no reason.
And
It's just...
Before being with you, I didn't want to celebrate Christmas. I was really bitter about it. Because people would be like, well, you can have a Christmas tree. But it wasn't my culture, and it felt weird.
Because it wasn't about accepting you for who you are. It's about you conforming to what they wanted you to be.
Assimilation.
So that,
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even... Assimilation is chosen. It was like...
It was gross.
The way assimilation is presented is like in the American culture is it's chosen. You come to America and you assimilate. What they were doing to you is more like the Borg assimilation.
Yeah. Well, we bring you our bagels and our musical theater and you still expect us to do Christmas. I don't know.
Yeah.
But now it's fine because now you are
and
here.
wrote all the Christmas songs.
That's true. A lot of those Christmas songs are written by Jews.
You need an outsider perspective to be like, what's special about this season? Snowflakes, nothing else. Do.
Right. But yeah, no, elementary school is rough. If you are trying to celebrate something other than Christmas, you will be treated differently, or at least that was the case in the 80s and early 90s.
Didn't you avoid getting hate crime by telling
yes, I
ignorant
did.
little
Okay,
child?
Wait, I can tell this story. I can tell it. So what happened was, I was on the bus, and there was a child.
I love how you know exactly what story I'm referencing.
Yes, I do. Because it burned into my brain. And there's a kid who was explaining to me that I was going to some kind of, I don't know, special hell, I guess, because, see, Santa gives presents to good children. Only the good children get presents from Santa. And Jewish kids, like, moi, we don't get presents from Santa. Ergo, all Jews must be, and I cut him off and explained, oh, no, because I saw where this was going. And I was taught, you cannot tell anyone that Santa isn't real, because Santa is like a deity to these Christians. He's very important. Saints, it's this they say that they're not polytheistic, but, like, clearly, there's a lot of saints. Anyway, Saint Nick is very important. You cannot tell a kid that he's not real. So, in order to not die, or make him turn into some kind of Nazi as an adult, I said, well, you see, Jews are elves. Actually, we're the ones making the toys, that's why we don't get the toys. And he was so nice to me for the rest of the year.
As soon as January rolls around, though, behavior resets. Like,
yes.
Kids are angels in December and fucking hellions the other 11 months. Like, it balances.
But, like, what else was I supposed to say to that? Just, what do you mean? No, I get presents from my parents because they love me. I'm sorry that your parents have to outsource.
I mean, I don't want to give the young Nazi any credit, but his logic, if the premises were true, his logic was on point.
Well, elves.
Except unless elves. You threw him a curveball with that one.
Yeah,
and good for you.
I mean, everyone in my family was really short, so, like, if he looked at me and my mom and, like, my dad and my sister, like, I think he would have been able to see,
yeah,
elves. Clearly.
So now I've grown up.
Yeah.
And I celebrate both. We'll put up a Christmas tree and we'll light it up and we'll bring out the menorah for Hanukkah.
And we bring your sister and cousin over.
We have latke night with some of my family members because we don't often get like not one-on-one time, but it's often big family events. Yeah. And I think like recently, this month we were somewhere and as I was saying goodbye to my brother-in-law, I was just like, I haven't even gotten a chance to talk to you yet. At all. And then we left.
Because you have a huge family.
Because there's always 24 people in the room and you got like 3 hours.
Bring a few over and feed them potato pancakes.
Yeah, they live pretty locally, but everyone's busy. So this is a good chance for everyone to sit down and have a meal together and sort of catch up.
Have a rebellion.
Yeah.
In the name of Hanukkah.
Yeah, and celebrate both.
Because
me and my sister grew up celebrating both.
Yeah. Rock on.
Rock on.